Guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly Jedi Marshal today, because today we are carrying on with our yearly Star Wars excursion from our ongoing Night Below campaign. And this year we are playing an adventure using Pinnacle Entertainment's outstanding Savage Worlds Adventure Edition, making use of a terrific set of fan-made, I say fan-made, but not to diminish it, some terrific rules put together by someone named Christopher Libby, the Star Wars Companion, which is for playing in a galaxy far, far away using the the Savage Worlds Adventure Edition rules. And with me today are the stars of the Night Below campaign, or the Knights Below campaign. I'll go the order I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing? First up, we've got Andrew.
I'm first?
You're first.
Wow.
We got the quick edge now, so.
That's right.
It's already reaping benefits. Hi, everyone. I'm Andrew, and I'm playing Tanev. I almost said Thirendal. Goodness gracious. He's stone, but anyway, I'm not. I'm Tanev. I'm a Rhodian bounty hunter.
Very nice. Next up is Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and I'm playing Cal Ador. He is a Bothan soldier.
Nice. And last but certainly not least is George.
Hey everybody, I'm George. I am playing Nox, who is a human Jedi rogue.
Excellent. Now, guys, George had mentioned before we started that he's a little far behind on the story thus far. So now that you guys have jumped to hyperspace from the planet of Wooks-Tavar, maybe it's a good opportunity to do a quick quasi-collaborative crawl here and bring George up to speed as to what happened in our first, I guess, episode. So, what happened what happened, I guess, on Wooks-Tavar? What would be our crawl summary of what you learned on that vacation world?
I really wish I could do that voice so that I could do the intro to our sessions as Clone Wars.
The announcer
on the run.
That's pretty good.
Last session was entirely the space combat. George, I forget, is it the last two? Was it the escape from Wooks-Tavar?
Let's do a quick summary so we're all on the same page.
Yeah,
why don't we just do a quick,
idea.
Bring everyone up to speed as to what's happened, what you're doing, and where you're going. Why did you go to Wooks-Tavar in the first place?
To meet with the oh my god, I almost said the collector, the Chamberlain, right?
Chamberlain, yeah.
Correct.
What I have is that we were going to meet him in exchange to trade info.
Yeah.
To trade in exchange, and then we're trying to find the location of a Praxium ship, one of the Jedi Praxium ships,
which you learned about afterwards. What you guys knew is that Chael was the one who told you that you were going to Wooks-Tavar to try and meet with the Chamberlain, but he didn't expand on why or how he knew or whatnot. You learned about the Praxium Jedi ship only after speaking to the Chamberlain.
Oh, right, yes, right. And then this is what I have. Chael, we had these royals that we were dealing with, and he wound up intimidating them into basically not saying anything about the mission that we were about to undertake. And we dropped them off at the resort.
Yes. Right.
Itself.
So let's just for the sake of summarizing everything that happened in that first thing. So you guys came to Wooks-Tavar. You guys met with a contact, Nauder the Ear.
Yeah.
Who said he had a way of contacting you guys or bringing you to into contact with the Chamberlain. You were given a hover truck and you were given a route to travel, and you were told that a transponder would activate and tell you how to get to the Chamberlain. While traveling, Chael and Cal heard a emergency broadcast, and being that you can take the Jedi out of the temple, but you can't take the temple out of the Jedi. That doesn't make any sense. That's made more sense before I started talking. Chael and Cal both agreed that they couldn't just let people, go when they were when they were in trouble, particularly because they said they had kids on board. Jeff, what do you remember about that operation?
That was a tricky operation. They were on the edge of a cyclone sort of water drainage thing, and we had to get in there and pull them off. Cal jumped to their ship and sort of threw them all into the van. And then we were having a lot of trouble escaping the pull of this thing, and finally, sort of at the last second, Chael managed to get us out of there.
Yeah. And to make matters worse, as you guys were pulling up to try and rescue these people, that's when the transponder activated. And you knew that if you didn't follow the transponder, then you'd be losing your chance. So this is where partly, George, what you were talking about came in, is there was some intimidation on the part of Chael. I can't remember if it was intimidation or if it was Jedi powers, but I think it was intimidation. And
I haven't literally the word intimidate in my notes.
We did that at the last bit too, because after they rescued him, it turned out the guy was in charge of a factory on Sullust, an Imperial factory, and he was trying to throw his weight around. Cal and Chael got him to reconsider that option, and then he traveled to the Chamberlain. The Chamberlain was, what do you remember about that meeting, Jeff? Because I think it was only you and Will at that point.
I'm not really sure. Like, we met with them, and it seemed that they were clones, I believe. I thought.
Yeah, you definitely
didn't think that they were robots.
Correct.
But they were all so similar, and I wasn't sure who the Chamberlain was, like if it was actually the three that we met with, or if it's just all of them as a collective and those were just the three we spoke with. He didn't really know. It was very bizarre place. And
the Chamberlain, you mentioned the thing that because there was no secrets that the Chamberlain didn't already have, that you had to trade, because you heard from Uter that's you guys heard before you got to Wuxtavar that he was someone who traded, didn't respect currency. He had more money or credits than he'd ever need to spend. So it was only in secrets. And one of the secrets you'd heard about is that this rumored Black Knight that seems to be hunting the Jedi in some capacity, or at least is an enemy of the surviving Jedi. That seems to be something that is you've heard that the Chamberlain had interest in. And then you arrived, and not only did he show you about the Praxium starship, he also told you about something else, another little slice of galactic history. What do you remember about that?
I can't remember what they're called. The Jedi Omnicron, the crystals,
holocron?
Holocrons. Yeah, that there was some out there that were both good and bad, and depending on if you were light side or dark side, they would reveal different things to you.
There was also something that was of interest to him. Do you remember what that was?
I'm pretty sure. Oh no, I don't remember.
He's trying to learn the identity of a particular dark Sith.
Yes. Right.
Which, kind of is timely and coincides with our interests, since we learned from a certain other contact of ours, well, not so much a contact so much as a frenemy, that a former, I guess, colleague of mine, we'll call him.
Yes. Critic Scan showed up as well, to give me specifically a warning that myself and the Yahoos I'm traveling with are being hunted. Well, specifically the Yahoos I'm traveling with are being hunted. He suggested I might have a choice to make in turning them in, but specifically we're being hunted by this mysterious group of these I keep forgetting the name, but Palpatine's hounds.
Palpatine's hounds. Yeah, I knew something
Yeah.
about a dog. And we don't know what they are. But that sounds ominous. And so we had that interaction and we went and did our thing, and then he showed up again as we were getting ready to leave to give me one final chance to turn you, Jeff, over.
That's right.
And Chael said, "Oh hell no!" And Andrew watching his language. Everything went foobar after that. Got into a bit of stuff, and Critic Scan got away. And
He did.
I'm sure that won't come back to haunt us at all. And then we made our escape, but hot on our heels was the local 5-0, because I guess I had had sticky fingers earlier, and then no. There was one specific guard I knew. I had sticky fingers, got caught or something, and then and then one of my my rockets,
The whistling birds.
Yeah, one of my whistling birds. When I tried to go after Critic Scan, I missed, but did so badly that they happened to hit a cop's cruiser thing, like ship thing, skipper, and we're just playing it off as it's the same damn guy, because of course it is. It's Savage Worlds and Star Wars, because that's pulpy.
Yeah.
Then we fought, and we got away, and we by the skin of our teeth managed to get away from our pursuers, but the night below is pretty messed up right now as a result. We've taken a substantial amount of damage, and we were basically left with a choice at the end of the last session. Do we zoom on ahead to our destination, knowing full well that the area we're heading into is known for pirates?
Oh yeah, not just known for pirates, but like it's a pirate sector.
Yeah. Do you go to the seedy part of town, or do we maybe stop and work on some repairs? Possibly more information, but maybe restock on supplies and fix our ship.
And what is it that you guys are doing? What's the information you're trying to track down to trade to the Chamberlain?
Oh God.
So that's the part I was fuzzy on.
So, I'm gonna suggest taking some notes, because this is the second or third time we've had to go back over this. The information what he's looking for is the origin of the original planet of the Black Knights of the Sith.
Oh, okay. There's my notepad.
Yeah, that was from 1800 years ago. And then we had and this particular dark, whatever, Black Knight of the Sith reappeared 900 years later, and Yoda fought him on his first adventure, if I recall correctly.
Correct.
And he may be possessed by a wraith, the first Jedi who fell to the dark side.
That's what they say. Yeah, that the original appearance, there was a guy, the head of the Black and the founder of the Black Knights of the Sith is said to be called the Dark Underlord, or the Underlord, and a Jedi Master, a Togorian Jedi Master named Murtaugh, right? He fell with the assistance of an army of Mandalorians. They defeated the Black Knights of the Sith, and he assassinated or killed the Dark Underlord, but only by falling to the dark side, apparently. The holocron that you guys have, the Grey Jedi holocron, is said to be a creation of Murtaugh after his redemption to the light side. Though if it is a Grey Jedi's holocron, perhaps that was not fully complete. So, Where our last session ended was with you guys collectively making the jump to hyperspace from Wuxtovar, having fought your way away from the back up into orbit, and then you dropped into hyperspace. Chael had made mention of going to a friendly port that he knew, a place called Socorro. And that's where we will be going. That's where you guys will be heading right now. We can picture you guys are in hyperspace on your way there. Anything else you can remember that I can't think of anything else. I think we're up to speed with where you guys have been, what's happened so far, who the players are, and what you guys are trying to do. Is there anything else you can think of?
The only thing that came up that I have was a personal thing, which is that I thought I saw my Padawan, who is a female Weequay, who's the one who taught me how to speak Huttese, in this like quick vision. And I'm not sure how this sort of integrates into everything going on, but it has me worried.
Do you think that's happened before?
I think so. I think there's some level of guilt that Nox has been carrying around, and it's been manifesting in different ways. And I think sometimes he sees her in his sleep, like in nightmares.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say that it's been growing steadily more prominent for him, and this was the first time he's had an actual vision where he literally, for that moment, thought he actually saw her, alive and walking around. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes. And I mean, like you can imagine when you have, like, setting aside the fact that there are such a thing as, force spirits, being force sensitive like that, and having whatever emotions and whatever else that everyone else is going through coming in on you, as well as whatever your own, challenges are, has got to be very tough for a post-Order 66 Jedi.
Yeah, totally agree.
Mm-hmm. So you can put your PowerPoints back up to 10, because you certainly would have had time to recover that. But I think what we'll do is, let's move us over to the night below, and we're gonna slowly make our way to. Okay, which one is it? Is it this one? Nope, that's the. Okay, good. I'm trying to find where the heck the starship is. It's not that. Nope. Not that. So we had one that was the layout of the interior of the ship, didn't we? Or did I not set that up on this map yet?
Thought we did.
Maybe. Oh, maybe we. Yeah, maybe we didn't on this one. Sorry, hold on. Let me do that then.
It's the night below in the handouts.
Right, but the for pages, so we can have it.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Let me take a peek here. I am fairly certain. Okay. Let's see here. Starship. What is the model of ship that the night below is? I can't remember offhand. George, do you remember what the?
I want to say it was a YT 2400.
Yeah, that's right. I couldn't remember what the. Ooh.
I think that's what we said.
That is definitely it, and I'm just trying.
Okay.
God dang. Where did I save it? I'll do that between now and next session, I think. I'm confusing it with our map in Traveler, because I've got that sitting in the background in Traveler for it. So I'll do that in this one between sessions, because I don't see... I don't see it here. At least not easily.
And I'll ask, while you're looking at that, does Tanib or Calidor, do either of you have the ability to do ship repairs well?
No, I do not have repair as a skill.
Well, one of the
things when you watch the episode and get caught up, one thing you will find is when the gun I was manning got damaged, I blew through about 5 or 6 points of luck, literally beating the thing, trying to get it to fix.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had to use my conviction to fix my gun.
Oh my God.
So yeah, that's what happened.
So yeah, that's a no. All right.
Yeah.
I got one thing I can try. Because I just can't remember what the thing is, but we've got our Star Wars. Where is it here? Saga Edition game. I for sure have a sheet on there. I have wisely not named any of the pages in that, so I'm just going to drag all of them over. And we'll, I'm sure one of these will be the one I'm looking for.
Numbers and letters. You don't need that.
No. Let's see here. All right. Is this? Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. That's not what I'm looking for. Nope. The heck? You know what? I thought of something else I could try. Sorry for those listening at home. I'm sure this is thrilling.
Looking through all the pictures.
Yeah. What I can do. That work? Come on, Madison. Found it.
Nice.
All right. So if we're gonna hang out in the ship, I just think that having the actual layout just gives you a little bit more immersion there, guys. So
yeah, I agree.
It really feels like you're there then.
Definitely. Okay, so here, guys, allow me to bring you over to boom. The Night Below. So, there is... Oh, who did I lose? Trying to slip out there, Tan. Can't get away from me. Oh, apparently you can. I can't get to you. Can I move over? Tan, you are just on the... Boy, nothing's easy today. There we go. Gotcha. Slippery little Rhodian. Okay, so... This will be after you guys have gone through the document.
I for some reason am not seeing that page.
No, neither am I.
Do I have the...
Yeah, same.
Hold up, let's see. I'm pretty sure it might have something to do with dynamic lighting.
Well, I see the Star Wars The Nights Below logo.
Oh, you know what?
Main page.
What will probably help is if I bring you over to it.
That did help. That actually helped.
Amazing what a difference that makes.
It's always good to return to our Bush League form.
Seriously? Holy smokes. What a day. Okay, so guys, this is where we are finding ourselves in this. You guys are... to answer your question with respect to being able to repair, this is not a matter of a function of skill at this point. It's a matter of the scale of repairs that are required.
Okay.
This is not something that can be, unfortunately, addressed with a simple patch stuff together. That's what you guys did while you guys were, what we're fighting. Right now, you need a garage. You need somewhere to go to actually fix this, and I'll make this a little smaller.
We need the right parts and materials, I'm assuming, as well.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Like, there's gonna be like full panels of the armor missing, full machine parts of the engines missing. We can't just duct tape that shit.
Yeah,
Well,
someone
we're
has
Canadians, so we can.
yeah. Someone had kludged together the what do you call it? The two guns as well, to the top turret, bottom turret, and had bodged together enough stuff to get the the night below to be functioning once again. But as soon as you drop out, that's a temporary thing, and as soon as you say like, oh, I think things are good, then sparks will fly out of it like, I think it's still a problem.
Yeah.
Let me go and I'll get rid of that dauntless name for you too. To map. Oop, nope. Map player. There we go. So, on the trip there, what I think we'll do, just to get ourselves back in our characters again, that was a pretty action-heavy thing, is we'll indulge in another interlude. Talk about the impact of what you guys learned down there, what you saw down there, and what because each of you has had at least one significant development on a personal basis since arriving on there. Tan and your frenemy Cal and the bounty seems to be higher than you realized, and Nox with your vision of your what do you call it, Padawan or apprentice.
Yeah.
So I think she was beyond being a Padawan at that point.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Okay, so let's here we go. So what I'd like you guys to do, we're gonna draw cards, and this will tell us one thing you're going to do. What we're gonna do for the interlude is either you're gonna tell us about downtime, what you're spending for what you're doing in your downtime, or something that's eventful in the downtime. You're gonna tell us about a backstory, something about your character that they're thinking of right now, or something about the journey itself, and that would probably be in relation to your fellow crew members. Chael, I'm assuming, has sent a message to Mudab. So, because I didn't know the answer to this, I actually spent time trying to find out the answer. In order to have like real-time communications over the HoloNet, you kind of have to have a ship the size of a Star Destroyer. That's why Vader is able, like the big display thing that they've got, that when he speaks to the Emperor, the sort of rationale that people seem to have come up with is that in order to have that real-time thing and having such a big way of communicating, it's not just drama, it's that it requires an enormous amount of power, an enormous amount of machinery in order to do that. Otherwise, it's actually very similar to the Traveler universe, where it kind of travels at the speed of what ships can. Ships move faster in Star Wars than they do in Traveler, but it'll take several days for you to get communication, so it's sending off a message on the HoloNet and hoping to hear back. So let's start with Tan. So Tan, a heart. So either, well, I guess first off, do you want to do we want to see what your downtime is? Do we want to fill in some backstory, or do you want to tell us about the trek, the journey?
I'm tempted by backstory.
Okay. So backstory, what you'd like you to tell us about is a tale of the hero's greatest love, found, lost, present, or waiting back home. That isn't necessarily romantic love either. That could be familial. So tell us a little bit about...
I guess we always, mercenaries and bounty hunters start their jobs and their careers. No one starts this career as a proactive, I'm gonna be a bounty hunter when I grow up. We all fall into this job, this line of work, and usually not through happy means. So I think his story is gonna involve some loss.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to be tropey and call them parents. I don't really know. I don't think that's. But I think maybe a mentor, someone that it meant a lot to him, trained him. Mm-hmm. Probably. He's got like a Tan is a roguish type background based on what we have here, so maybe he was being trained in some sort of, I don't know, soldering involving spying and such. So that kind of became what he was doing, and maybe the mentor he was with.
So I will tell you, remember, Rhodians are notorious hunters. So actually, it isn't uncommon for them to fall into bounty in the same way that there's a couple of species that just seem to, their culture suits that. So Rhodians are like that, the Ubazi are like that, and the Gand are like that.
Okay.
Rhodians
so
are hunters,
perhaps
Gands are, they have a findsman, I think they call them.
It could, so you know what, then it could have very well been, maybe his mentor was like himself, a bounty hunter that kind of got him started in the field or whatever. Mission gone bad, and I think, you know, the target we were after was involved in some things that we weren't aware of and had some powerful friends, and you know, as a result of that, my mentor died.
Was this during the Clone Wars?
It very well may have been. In fact, maybe the cause of my mentor's death was the Republic forces, or maybe even more specifically, a Jedi, or I perceive it to be that. Whether or not it was is something else entirely, but maybe Tan thinks that a Jedi, doesn't matter who, was responsible, directly or indirectly, for the death of his mentor, and that...
Might I ask, was it that he found a lightsaber wound and just assumed that it was a Jedi?
You know what? Yeah, I like that. Lightsaber wound.
Because who else uses them? I mean, no one's seen a Sith for 1,000 years.
Yeah, exactly. There's no other way that could possibly have happened. And I think that probably fed into there was some festering, some resentment, which could easily have festered into hatred. And so when you know, the war was over and he saw work hunting down these you know, no questions asked, yes sir, let's point me in the right direction. I like that, because then it also suggests that this, you know, current circumstance, you know, was never a given. Him falling in with this lot here has taken quite a bit of soul searching and self kind of exploration for him to.
Well, I think
you
and Drew, because of the piece, not the piece, but well, yeah, I guess the peace that you guys were able to find between each other to, like, not immediately fight and save some young Jedi. What do you think Tan makes when, because it was Nox, I believe, who told you guys about the rumors he'd heard about Darth Vader, and knowing that there is an evil, or at least someone who is hunting the Jedi, who also uses a lightsaber.
Yeah, I think this is all the talk of, you know, over the course of this mission so far has really, has really got Tan thinking back and reflecting on, you know, his mentor, his partner, what have you, and all of the assumptions that he has been making for the past, you know, years. And he's, you know, I think if anything, the questions that he's asking himself now are kind of forcing him to reevaluate everything he's known, as well as the people he's currently with. He was kind of, I would say at the very outset of the story, kind of tentatively, like, he was here because he thought that benefited him more than what he was doing previously. But I think he's starting to come around more to being here to see where this goes and to learn more. He's certainly, anyway, it's piqued his interest, and now he's wondering if there's more to what's going on than he's wondered. I'm not going to say he's feeling guilty yet, or that he's like completely trusting of Jedi yet. But I think he's discovered that there's a lot more going on, and he's very uncomfortable with.
Well, I mean, certainly
that.
enough to be on the run with them, and now also to be apparently hunted by at least one powerful bounty hunter.
Yeah, I mean, it was not to. I mean, I'm here with all of you, and we're all playing a game together, and so Andrew was certainly not going to turn on the group and be that guy at the table. But that's not to say Tan didn't think about it. And I think I think it's in the narrative. Tan definitely made a choice at the docks when faced with Critic Scan.
Yeah.
And we're going to see where that choice leads him.
So in one way, unlike his inspiration, his heart didn't turn to stone.
Yes.
As a registered WGA member, George, you can feel free to boo.
It's better than.
In fact, we might say that this green creature's heart has grown a couple sizes.
It's better than ChatGPT, so I will allow it.
I mean, thank you. I don't know if that's a compliment.
Andrew, what is Tan's his mentor? Do you think he is a Rhodian as well? Is he a different species?
I don't think he needs to be Rhodian. Probably almost said Xenos. Probably non-human.
Okay.
I wonder if he could be a Twi'lek.
Sure.
Because that's fun. I like them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it'll be a stretch for me to do a bad,
fact,
Russian accent, but I can accommodate.
Probably a
there.
her.
A her, okay.
Yeah. There's not many females in this story, so let's add one.
Sure. Okay. Well, I mean, you don't know who the Chamberlain is, so.
That's fair.
True.
That's great. Thank you very much for that. That's good stuff. If you want to give some thought to a name for your former mentor too, give some thought, and you can let us know when you have it picked. Jeffrey, let's draw a card for you. Ooh, spades.
Ooh.
So, will it be downtime, backstory, or track? Oh, and also, Andrew, you get a Benny for that.
Oh,
Nice.
cool.
Like downtime's what we're doing on the ship, right? Like
Correct.
sort of on this. Yeah. I think that's what's going to be because Cal has been hurt in the past quite a lot, and he's lost a lot of people. So I think he's kind of one of those people who doesn't look back. He always is trying to look forward in life because, the grass is greener forward for sure, as opposed to back. Like he doesn't have, all these memories of life that he likes to focus on. And as far as the bounty, it's obviously higher than he imagined, but he's done some things, and so he's also not surprised. Like, well,
Okay.
I guess my past is catching up with me.
So spades is then your character spends time alone in quiet contemplation. What does he do?
Yeah, so this kind of comes back to what I took for my downtime thing. So
now, since we're on the ship as well, so you can feel free to take advantage of the setup, and where I see there is a what do you call it?
Well, I'm imagining that somewhere on the ship, we would have, there's some kind of library or repository of information or something like that.
I'd take a look at the size of the ship.
I don't mean like a full library. I mean, like, I guess it'd be more like a bookshelf, but you know what I mean? Like there would be something in there where, like, I don't know, maybe it's even
could just be the lounge, maybe.
Yeah, maybe just in the lounge. Maybe it's not a lot. I mean, I'm not expecting there's a lot, but with everything that's been going on, I mean, he's traveling with 3 Jedi, something he'd never imagined. 3? Yeah.
2, 3, yes.
Yeah, something he never imagined would happen. And also, every direction that we're heading lately is just
For Jedi.
they're just more and more the focus of his life. Like, not only is he traveling with them, but there's this possible bad Jedi or something. He doesn't even really understand what these dark Sith and black knights are. But so in order to sort of know your enemy, he is spending time doing research and learning as much as he can about the Jedi. So I mean, since it's alone, and I'm guessing that one of the three Jedi probably had some, maybe it was a book or a holocron or some kind of computer or whatever it would be in the Star Wars universe that he could study and read to at least learn something, because he just felt in the dark before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's scary for him to not know your enemy and have them be so much more powerful than you. That's like kind of a double whammy of his worst fears, right? You know,
Yeah.
you have this
So
enemy.
one of the things you would learn about too, to give context for it, it's the Sith he's looking into.
Yeah.
Is your thing? Yeah. So the thing is that, like, setting aside the purging of information or the distortion of information that happens when the Empire comes to power about the Jedi, the Sith themselves, remember, the Jedi thought they were extinct. Right. So the information that you find about the Sith is going to be historical stuff, likely about the New Sith Wars from 1,000 years ago.
Right.
And, you know, it might very well be like there's a neat map in one of the atlases that was published for Star Wars, where it shows you the scale of the Sith, like the Sith space. It was never really, like, right at the end of, before the Battle of Ruusan, the Sith did all kind of ally with one another under the Dark Brotherhood, and then were completely fucking wiped out. But if you look at the amount of space, it's like half the galaxy was under the control of one Sith warlord or another. And it's kind of like, you know, when you learn something about your hometown or the place you're living, where you're like, it just really can recontextualize things about, like, how did I not know that this happened here?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
This is a non sequitur, but like the internment of Ukrainians and other Galicians during World War I in Canada. It's something that's fucking shocking to learn about, but, you know, it's something that happened in almost every major Canadian city. In the same way, imagine learning that, like, 1,000 years is long for a lifetime, but it's not long for a galaxy that's 24,000 years, you know, 24,000 years of history in it. Imagine learning that only 1,000 years ago there was a powerful enemy that managed to nearly conquer the galaxy.
Would my home planet have been under a Sith Lord at some point?
I don't know one way or the it wasn't. I don't think Botha-Ui was part of Sith space at any point, because that's one of those ones that's close to the core. But,
so maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's part of
but
where,
who knows?
like,
Honestly, who knows whether or not it did or not, because they also had the Sith at one point struck Coruscant.
Right.
That's not in the newer Sith era. That's older times. But because of how easy, relatively speaking, it is to move around in this, the front in a galactic war in Star Wars is really kind of hard to define.
Right.
So it could be. Why were you thinking that might be consequential for him?
Just that would make that hit even harder. Like you said, like, you know, things that happened to your country or your town that you didn't know about, and then find out about. The impact is greater if it sort of happened to you or your family a little bit, right?
So it could be that you're maybe seeing different, you know, shifting, because over the course of that 1,000 years, it would be shifting and fracturing and whatnot. And it's also very limited in the amount of information, or it's limited in the different scopes, because when the whole galaxy burns for 1,000 years, it's sometimes tough to keep track of what the hell's going on when you don't have perfect information.
Right.
So, and I get, you know what? Gosh. I'll bet you there were Bothans on both sides of that conflict.
Yeah.
Because you were the Bothans are always there. I mean, they're loyal to the rebellion afterwards, but I mean, even that, one way of seeing that is that they are not loyal to the Empire, so they don't necessarily always side with the Republic/Empire.
Right. Yeah, and I think that this time of learning all this really highlights for him, I think, a lot too of what the Jedi are fighting against. You know, like I don't know that he ever really saw it as maybe like you'd term it more like a religious war, I guess, than like he always just thought of them as like another type of soldier, another type of warrior. He never really saw it as this like sort of, you know, holy war of like the Sith versus the Jedi. I think like
that's fair too, especially if you have any knowledge of it. Like the Mandalorians won't ever shut the fuck up about having nearly conquered the galaxy as well, right? Even though that happened 4,000 years ago. So it's definitely would be easy to blur those things. It's like, one's, you know, one enemy force is the same as any enemy force.
Right. You know, exactly. So I think that's like a bit of an eye opener there for him too, is sort of just like their war is almost on a different level than the wars he's fought in, is kind of what he's thinking, right? Like,
so how does he feel then, knowing that once you get things up and running after Sakaro, that you're heading to try and like dredge up secrets from that war-torn era?
Yeah. I think it's maybe there's a bit of a fascination now with it. Like, you know, once you know, get into something like that, you want to know more. So I think that it's kind of like, you know, he can tell, like you said, that there's the information's been obscured or it's not all accurate. It's like, you know, there are holes in the knowledge. And so I think going there and finding this information has become more personal to him now. Before it was just like, oh, I'm just helping Chael, like this is what we're doing. But now it's like, this is interesting.
And here's an interesting, if he's starting to think of it in terms of tactical basis, because you are a commando. If he is thinking in that terms, you know what might have information that never got to the HoloNet and was never shared with anyone else? The Bothan spy net.
Oh, right.
So there may be more information. You would need to gain access to that somehow. Track down a contact or something like that. But yeah, if you do want to learn more about that beyond what's accessible in the HoloNet and whatnot, that's definitely something, the spy net, which you were part of and are, you probably have contacts with, but yeah, that might have some further information that public sources don't have, particularly after the purges of information once the Empire came to power.
Yeah, that's definitely, maybe that's where his mind is sort of as we're arriving to this planet to get our ship fixed.
Yeah.
Is like, you know, maybe there's some way I could connect.
Okay. Well, that's great, Jeff. Thank you. You get a Benny for that. And then George, let's see what Nox is getting here.
Cool.
Nox is spade or a club. Now, would you wish to give us a downtime, backstory, or trek?
I think downtime.
Downtime? Okay, so this is great. So for clubs, your hero broods or is angry about something. What is it, and how does he misbehave?
Yeah. Okay. So I think first of all, I think he goes to the storage hold to get away from everybody.
Yeah. That's probably where you keep Rockslider too, right?
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. So Rockslider is the only other entity there that I could interact with, but I'm kind of ignoring him, and I'm literally brooding. And
can I ask you something about Rockslider?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we know that Rockslider is a labor droid with the brain of an astromech. What does he sound like?
I think he sounds like if you took R2D2 and like dropped him by multiple octaves. So
Right. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Like a dying speaker in an old, green screen computer.
exactly. You know, like that kind of.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, he, there's a bunch of things that have happened and have been revealed to him. And he hasn't had time to process any of it because things have been happening. So, the vision of his former Padawan, who I came up with a name for her actually, Zyla Tren.
Tren. Okay, let me put these two down here.
Yeah, Zylatren. Want me to type it into the
TR.
I'll put it here. Here, I'll just so we have it here.
Okay. And
and so, as you said, she didn't die as a Padawan. She died as a full Jedi Knight. But part of, I think, the backstory of that he's thinking about right now is the fact that he survived, obviously. So when Order 66 happened, he managed to he be in a good strategic kind of situation with the clone troopers he was with, and he managed to destroy enough of them to get it to escape. That's how he survived. But he didn't think much of it. It's like, he's such a great Jedi. I mean, one of his hindrances is overconfident. So he was sort of like expected his former Padawan to have survived as well, because he trained her, but she didn't. And now he part of him feels like he had always had this level of guilt that maybe he didn't do a good enough job, but now with this Black Knight of the Sith information, he's starting to realize, maybe there's some entity far more powerful than he thought that's bringing back the secrets, these dark side secrets, which is because he has no idea like what about anything that we as viewers of the movies knew, because the only people who talked about it were basically Yoda and Obi-Wan. So he's not known what really happened, and this Darth Vader figure made now he started to put these pieces together. He wonders if this Darth Vader figure is the one responsible for her death, because he knew that she was good. He knew that he trained her really incredibly well, and he wonders if somehow he had something to do with her death, which is now leading him to be incredibly angry that he wasn't aware. I mean, none of the other Jedi were aware either, but he should have known. He's good. He was a great Jedi, and he never recognized that somehow in the background these Sith were returning.
Well, and what do you make of? I think it was Droman who mentioned that and this is only recently. He's been pretty cagey about what he was doing as a Jedi Shadow. But he recently, when John was on screen, talked about he was looking into a traitor to the Jedi Order. Right.
Yeah. And that's so there's this interconnectedness, and maybe that's the same person. Maybe who this Vader is that traitor, or maybe the traitor was drawn to the dark side by Vader. It's unclear, but either way, it seems like Vader may be at least one of the keys as to what's going on, and he's starting his feelings are starting to well up in him, and he knows that's not a good thing, like in this moment. And he's like, maybe if I could use that holocron and just use some of those dark side secrets, because just to take this guy out. Because and who do you think, like
who do you think
Master Murtaugh?
Who has the holocron right now, you think? Of the four of you that are on the four Jedi that are on the ship, honestly, there are at least two, possibly three of you that are flirting with the dark side already.
Yeah.
Not it.
Yeah. What I want to say that it's probably Chael, just given history across multiverses.
Yeah. That makes sense. And you would keep it knowing the because I mean, Chael is also of all of you, I believe he's the most empathic as well, because I think he actually has empathy as a power.
That's right.
So he may pick up the negative emotions coming from. He does have empathy. So he could very well be. He could have picked up the swell of anger from you. Aggression from Droman, and Droon still seems to be pretty straight and narrow. He seems like an actual knight of a Jedi.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, I mean, I think he probably picked up on like my need for revenge. And it's starting to get, I had guilt and now it's turning into revenge. So all the things I directed at myself, now I'm turning back outward. And I know that Master Murtaugh fell to the dark side and came back. He came back. So maybe I could do the same thing. Just for a short time, because if this, I don't know a lot about Vader, but I know historically the Sith can be incredibly powerful, and so I feel like it's my duty to do whatever it takes to destroy him. But it's really skirting that line and starting to flip over into like I just want vengeance against him. So this is what's going through my mind as I'm like pacing through here.
And what do you see Rockslider's relationship with you? Do you see like, is it more like R2 where he's following along and trying to help or like caution you against things, or is it more like 3PO where he's an oblivious servant?
I think he's not like 3PO. I think he's like R2, except instead of being sort of the like plucky sidekick type of character, he's more like the concerned friend.
Yeah.
And so I'm like in my own head and heart, and like all this is going on, and unbeknownst to me, I've taken out my lightsaber and turned it on.
Do you talk to Rockslider at all?
Yeah, I generally talk to him, but in this moment I haven't been. And like I've got my lightsaber out, and like my eyes are like 1,000-yard stare, and like the lightsaber blade is reflected in both my eyes, and like they're starting to get a little bit of a squint.
What color is your lightsaber again?
My lightsaber is yellow,
which means you have yellow reflection in your eyes.
Yes. So that doesn't say anything about anything.
Nope.
And I think the next thing that I know is I come out of this like interior world and these kind of emotions that normally I'm able to keep suppressed, and I feel a weight on my shoulder, and I kind of turn around like to strike, and it's Rockslider.
And you hear that mournful, low kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And that sort of like brings me back to like present moment, and like that connection I have with him takes me down that one notch into realizing like oh my God, what am I doing? Like
the lightsaber goes away.
Lightsaber goes away, and I'm like, whoa, I gotta be very careful, but I still need to do something about this. And he's like, thanks, Rockslider. And he kind of.
So from what one of the things that Rockslider might be able to help with as well, I'm assuming you've had Rockslider since you had your own crew, you and Cal and your Padawan and whatever. Sakaro is not quite as notorious as what Mos Eisley is, as far as like scum and villainy of all sorts and whatnot. But Sakaro is it has a long pedigree of being a home for smugglers and sometimes pirates. Yeah. And you've actually been there before. So what Chael's connection is, I'll leave it to Will to determine how much he's shared about the reason he feels safe there and the reason he wants to go there. But the sense you get from the way he dresses, I think, or at least some of the things he keeps in his kind of personal effects, there is a separate tribe there. They're kind of like, honestly, medieval, the medieval kind of Middle East, or at least the Arabian Peninsula. There's a division on Sakaro between the urban population of smugglers and pirates and whatever else, and the deserts and the people the tribes that live out there, who ride a something similar to a dewback that's called a druza. They're called the Ibhari, the Ibhariel, or Ibhariel, maybe that's how it's pronounced. You would guess that where he is thinking about hiding is in amongst the Ibhariel. Now, you would know, having been there before, that maybe he knows something you don't, but they don't seem to be great in Starship Repair. So Chael might be thinking only of Sakaro's a great place to hide. But you know that there's also, there is a spaceport large enough that it almost matches the size of the city. The capital city of Sakaro is a place called Vikea. And I'll put that in chat for you. Vikea is a spaceport called Sokojarel. So it has a large, it has a lot of ships coming and going from there. And again, smuggling, big thing on Sakaro. Sakaro, incidentally, is the canonical homeworld of Lando Calrissian.
Yep.
You know that there is a place called the Black Dust Tavern. And the Black Dust Tavern is owned by a guy named Carl Ancher.
Yeah.
And in his day, Ancher was one of the most notorious / successful smugglers in the Outer Rim. If anybody's going to be able to get you the stuff to get, give you a place where you can catch your breath, get things repaired, and then figure out how you're going to go to Flowaka and find this temple that you're supposed to find. And Carl may be the one who can give you all of that stuff. He'll know who to find to get the repairs done to the night below. He'll give you likely a place to hide out. You're trying to remember if you left in a... Did you cheat him at Sabak last time or not? I can't remember.
I am a rogue. It's hard to I've been there too many times to remember just this one.
Cal, one of the things I think that would come up in the course of your... Just because there would be an interesting overlap between the two different things. If you're looking at Sakaro and you're looking at the history of the Sith and whatnot, this is semi-related, but Sakaro used to be the home to a Jedi temple, a training facility for specifically those of the Guardian persuasion, more martial Jedi warriors. It was a casualty during the Clone Wars, but you can't find any information. If it is something you actually would be curious and looking into, well, actually, why don't we do this? Why don't you give us either a common knowledge, Cal, or a... Oh, and first off, George, that was excellent as well, too. Thank you for that. You get a Benny as well. Cal, give us a... what do you call it? Oh, and each of you two, because we're unlikely to blow through a bunch of bennies, you'll start next session with an extra benny.
Cool.
Great.
I mean, I'm going to attack you with a space fang dragon in a moment, but
yeah,
if you don't get through all of them, then,
That's a Star Destroyer, right? The Fang Dragon? Or the Dragon's Fang?
Cal, you want to give us an occult roll or a common knowledge roll?
Okay, here we go. I'm going to use it.
Your choice.
Why do I not see it? Oh, there it is. Oh, I'm better at common knowledge.
Okay.
Oh, well.
Okay. So unless you want to spend a Benny to fish for a raise.
Yeah, let's do it.
Anna just looked over. She says, yeah, do it.
Yeah, exactly. Kevin's not getting a very big paycheck tonight, so
No, I mean, again, my you know, compensation is key to how many narrative metacurrency gets spent. So you can keep spending if you like.
no, that's telling me that it's just not meant to be.
Yeah. So the thing is, you know that it's almost like a curious little footnote, and none of your Jedi companions have mentioned that there was a Jedi temple there.
Right.
Which either means it wasn't important, or it was relatively secret, or whatever.
Right. I'm finding they don't tell me a lot of things, Kev. I'm starting to do my own research.
Yeah. Like 3 sessions from now, Cal's gonna fall down the hole of like Star Wars QAnon. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You know that the Jedi made it look as if they were. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, what? Yeah, that you would know then that there is that there as well. You also would be aware, and this would be both Nox and Cal. This is outside of hut space, but there is a hut who is present there. A guy named Tiranya.
Ooh.
Tiranya or Taranga? Sorry, I can't read my handwriting. Taranga the Hut runs a cantina there called Taranga's Loft. Nox, you definitely would have spent some time there, and it is more the criminal, like the gangster part of the underworld. If you want to make contact with any kind of criminal organizations there, Taranga's Loft would be a place to check out.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes sense for me to have been there.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely. And what do you would know, Cal, is that Taranga's Loft is sort of, because it's outside a hut space, but run by a hut. It's kind of like a safe ground for. Or neutral ground is the word I'm looking for, or phrase, for, you know, other different things. The Pikes, the, what's his name? The Faline, what are the Faline organization called? Prince Shizor's thing?
Yeah.
I don't remember what it is offhand. I'm sure someone in the chat's going to tell us. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris is in chat. Maybe he'll remember it.
But Shizor's organization, the Black Sun.
Black Sun. Yep, Black Sun.
Okay. It's a place where all sorts of different criminal organizations could meet, which means there's a possibility of running into agents at the Pikes there, Cal.
Yeah, maybe don't want to go there.
All right. So then, guys, with that brief bit of stuff in mind, with our downtime and interludes finished, what are you guys thinking of doing in Sakaro? Is there anything you want to be aware of? Any caution you want to have, or any precautions you want to take?
I think Tan is going to be a little less sticky-fingered this time, and I'm probably going to be like much more observant and trying to explicitly avoid any local authorities. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would mention it to my fellow Jedi. It would, since I've been here before, would suggest there may be not only pirates and smugglers, but lots of bounty hunters as well. We probably should keep our sabers, as concealed as possible, and kind of try to just blend in with the kind of regular crowd who we are likely to encounter here.
I think it's safe to assume there is a bounty hunters guild headquarters here. A place like Taranga's Loft would be an ideal place to get all sorts of jobs from all sorts of ne'er-do-wells.
Yeah, I mean, I think whenever I would come here as a Jedi rogue, I would not be wearing my Jedi robes. Like, I would dress like a smuggler, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Strikes me that if that's true, Nox, then I think maybe I should be keeping a pretty low profile too.
That's true.
Because critics Stan said that he's not gonna turn me in because that's his life debt repaid to me. But word's gonna get around, and I'm known in that community.
Yeah.
So
well, and as a Rhodian hunter, you're familiar with the idea of what do they call it? Beating the bushes. If he feeds information to other bounty hunters with respect to people he said he won't turn in, that might cause you to come out, and then he can get the bounty. And I'm pointing at you, Cal, that he's willing to turn in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean,
danger everywhere.
He didn't say that he was contacted by the hounds, right?
Yeah. And like, he specifically, the only promise he has given is that he won't turn me in. He said nothing about any of the rest of you.
Right.
So because I'm the only one he owes anything
Well,
to.
it's not quite. He did say he was letting the Jedi go.
Yeah.
It
From
was
that
you and the
planet.
Jedi, and it was only afterward that he's like, I'm sorry, it's just too much money. Cal,
Yeah.
No, that's fair. But also, like, I'd be a fool to think that that deal extended beyond that planet. There's a I think, I don't know, I don't want to assume too much, Kev, about the game the story you're creating here and such, but like, it strikes me, if I was a bounty hunter, that there would be a unspoken time limit on my generosity.
Yeah.
I'm letting you get away this time.
Well,
If I'm caught in a situation with Critic again, he's already squared up with me. He doesn't owe me anything anymore, so there's absolutely no reason to believe that he will keep his promise indefinitely.
he also quite seemed to enjoy one-upping you.
Yeah, I'm kind of
getting
actually
the
thinking,
better of you, or however you want to put that.
yeah, and I'm not sure if that. I'm trying to make up my mind about whether that means that he would absolutely turn me in, or if that's the only reason he won't turn me in is because he loves lauding it over me.
Well,
Which, to be fair, I clearly enjoy lauding me saving his life over him. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hence frenemy.
It's how you guys flirt. So,
Right.
Yeah, it's our love language.
That's right.
all right. So, is there anything that you guys would have time to access the HoloNet to try and send messages and stuff? Is there anything that you would want to do by way of networking before you guys arrive here? Any information you'd want to gather? Anyone you'd want to try and contact?
I mean, one thing I would want to know is if Carl Anker is still on planet, still, he's still the owner of the Black Dust Tavern.
Yeah.
Because it's been a while since I've been here, and that right now for
Is
me,
it since 1997?
it was 1990. Yeah, it was exactly right. Yep, that's when it was.
I was looking at it today.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly right. I remember when the Sakura was like the big thing. Everybody, Pete Schweighofer, like that was his domain, was Sakura.
Yeah.
And he was doing all this cool stuff with it. So now I get to play in it.
Nice.
Because he was like, "No, you stay away. No.
How do you like me now, Pete?
You're gonna mess up my stuff." No, there were a lot of short stories that were written in the Star Wars Adventure Journal set in Sakura as well that were very popular. So it's just fun to be back there. But I think Knox has just not been here in a while, and he wants to make sure if he's gonna counsel his companions to go to Carl Anker for some help. He wants to make sure that he's still there and not going to find ourselves in a bad situation if we go there.
Why don't you give us a common knowledge check, Knox? I'm going to give you a +1 to this because we've already established you've been there before.
Okay, cool. Here we go.
Nice.
Great.
So here's what you know. Sakaro is a wild, uncivilized world covered in distinctive black sand deserts. Smugglers, bounty hunters, and all manner of criminal scum are attracted to the world and have bases there. So the capital of Vakaya Vikaia is not the only settlement out amongst the desert. There's also a bunch of hidden stuff. It's kind of almost like a desert version of the Caribbean, where there's tons of places you can hide out there. It doesn't have a moon. It orbits I think it's one of the only 2 planets in the entire system, and it has a giant red star as its the thing that it orbits around. Sakaro has no unifying government and is fought over by various criminal organizations. Small tribes of humans and near humans also live in the world, but they stay clear of civilization, apart from obviously the capital itself. As for Anchor, it still operates the Blackstone, sort of Black Dust Tavern.
Right.
So he is still there as well. What inquiry? Like, how were you trying to find that out? Did you shoot Carl a message?
I feel like that's too dangerous. I wonder if I that wouldn't have been my first choice, but I would do it if this other choice wouldn't work. I was trying to think if I maybe had another contact that I had used in the past that was more of an under the radar person, sort of like more of a background person.
Let's draw a. I've got. Here we go. Would you give us? I think it's a D20. Yeah, D20 roll, please.
Okay.
Seven. So, tell us about this lazy contact that you have on Sakaro.
Okay, so I kind of recognized that there was this guy who basically just would hang out at the Black Dust Tavern all day and all night, just drinking for free because he was a collector of information, because he listened to everybody's conversations. What
species do you think?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. Like, we already had a Twilight come up this time, but that was my first thought. But maybe an Athorian.
Okay.
Yeah, and because we've used Aqualus, we've gotten some good references in. So yeah, I think an Athorian, and he had amazing hearing, and so he would just take in information as much as possible, and that became his stock and trade. But he never wanted to actually go out and do anything. And if somebody said, "Hey, if you meet me out in the alleyway, I'll pay you double," he'd be like, "That's okay."
Yeah. So he's effectively like Ithorian Mycroft Holmes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like the Cheers bar to him, and he's like, he's Norm, Yeah. So I think he's sort of, and he's grown, unlike the one Ithorian we saw in the movies, he's grown wide as a result of his lack of movement and his constant consuming of blue milk and harder substances.
Okay.
But he's funny, and I think I always got along with him really well. He's super shady. He'll do whatever. He doesn't really care, but he won't do anything physical to people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he will betray people. He will sell secrets to one side and then sell them back to the other side, all that kind of stuff. And he's really good at getting out of, like, when the people discover he's done that. He's really good at talking his way out of it. Okay. So his mouth and his ears are his two ultimate weapons. He's also not intimidated by anything, because he kind of just doesn't care what happens to him. And I really just had had developed a good relationship with him. I think over the many years.
So give us some thought to his name, and then we'll add him as an NPC for the adventure. So you're waiting to hear back from him, and I'll tell you something that's going to tie in with his lazy. What about Cal and Tan? Knowing that you're heading there, anything you guys wish to do? It sounds like there would be bounty hunter contacts potentially on there. As a reminder, networking can be a way of finding contacts or information or whatever, and it's generally speaking using persuasion or intimidation. But I'm always happy to entertain more creative use of other skills. Sorry, Jeff, I interrupted you to give that spiel.
No, that's okay. Because Calidor is definitely looking to see if he can figure out if there would be access to the Bothan spy net somewhere on planet.
Ooh, interesting.
He knows that there's a chance he might have to go somewhere he doesn't want to go, but so I mean, I know it's supposed to be like persuade networking, and I'm not really sure if he's contacting someone. I mean, I personally imagine it more like, it's more like a classified ad that's like droids for lease that's got, code in there that like come to this address or, some kind of coded spy stuff. But
so what the thing is I don't know.
But he could be there could be someone he's talking to get that information.
So I absolutely buy that. Oh, nice.
I literally generated that from an authority and name generator, and it came up with Big as his last name.
Nice. Love it. All right.
So persuasion?
I think persuasion. Yeah, that probably. Yeah. But it's in the context of your like sneaking and your,
Oh man. Jeff.
You know what happens?
How you end the session. That's how
you know what happens when you roll double ones on a networking? It means it leads to an encounter.
Oh,
awesome!
So I'm going to take that and put it in my Jedi Marshal's back pocket, and I'll tell you what happens with that. So you made inquiries, and hopefully when you're on planet, you'll be able to find that there is information you've been given to follow up with on it. What about you, Tan?
Trying to think, because like I said, I firmly believe too that I think Tan's got to be very careful about who he interacts with here. And yet it's precisely his that connection to that group that could help us find information. So there's risks here. But who dares wins. So I think we're gonna try to be careful about it. But we're gonna shit.
What are you trying to get information about specifically?
You know what? No, we're okay here. If we're gonna be pursued, we don't need to find out anything more about that. We know that it's happening, and so we know that we've got a limited time to stay here.
Maybe you could learn more about the bounty hunters that are actually after us.
Yeah. But that's that's like walking into the lion's den and asking which one wants to eat you.
Don't roll double ones. It's easy.
Jeff got it out of the system, so you're good.
It's Roll20's already dropped that bomb on us.
When have you guys ever rolled back-to-back natural ones?
Never. Yeah, never have I ever. Oops, I got a drink. Yeah, I just don't know. That sounds. Yeah, I had a player who did this exact thing in my game. I'm keeping that one in my back pocket for years now. So, but you know what? Fuck it. I think let's find.
If there's any sentence that sums up playing Savage Worlds, it's that.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah,
that's what bennies are for.
That's right.
So, yeah, see if using connections to, the bounty hunters kind of guild here.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not gonna be stupid about it and walk right into the hall and talk to the first person I see. But, like, I must have some allies and friends within that community who may not rat me out.
So do you want to wait until you're on Sakaro to search him out, or to give a feel out to what the situation is like at the
I think
guild?
Yeah, I would wait because I think, like, maybe I would see who's there, and if anyone who owes me favors is on planet, then those would be the likely ones that I would try to hit up for some information.
Okay. So you
or conversely, if not for information that they currently have, maybe the trade of favor is, because we're on the run and this is going to be an obvious stopping spot for anyone who's pursuing us, they'll check once we've hopefully gotten out of here, maybe to give me a heads up if they see someone coming after me, and watch my back, kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So then, guys, I think our session will end with you guys dropping into the Sakaro system.
Ooh, cool.
That's when you have, Nox, your message from Poesh to Thoth.
Yeah,
Poesh to Thoth.
Yeah.
To Thoth.
God
That is
damn it,
not
George.
easy to get out the first time.
Don't antagonize the GM.
It was a random generator. It wasn't my fault.
Yeah. So Poesh. Big
Poesh, just Poesh.
yeah.
Just Poesh.
Big Poesh.
Poesh.
What you see is the message comes up from him, and he says that Anchor's still running the things, but be careful. Don't come here. And it is as you guys are taking in the proper scan that you realize there is one of the brand new Imperial class Star Destroyers in orbit above where Vakaya would be located.
I was joking about the Dragon's Fang thing.
Already had it loaded, and I will say, Cal, that's not your double one.
I figured it's
That
not.
is a check in the mail still.
Yeah.
So with words coming through from someone with a very proper British accent demanding that you give your identity and your reason for traveling to Sakaro, will bring our session to a close. So I think this is our 9th session. So if how many advancements do each of your characters have right now? I know Nox, George, you missed a couple of sessions, so you're not going to be at 8 yet. Cal, is this your 8th advancement now?
I kind of think so.
Because you've been keeping track of them pretty well, right?
Yeah.
Have you missed any sessions, Jeff? On
I missed
Wednesdays?
one.
Then there you go. So this will be your 8th session.
Yeah,
And,
okay.
10, I think you missed 1 or 2.
I've missed, I think, 2.
Okay, so you're at 7. So yeah, everyone gets an advancement for this session, and then Cal, you'll be slowing down after this.
Right. Does this put me on the last tier then? Is that how that works?
Not last. This will be the next one, which is I think
or whatever.
veteran.
Or veteran, yeah.
Yeah. There's 5 tiers.
There's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're in veteran. And then after that's heroic. After that's legendary.
Okay. Right.
Okay, so you can grab veteran edges as well.
Cool.
And because in this veteran tier you are able to raise. Well, actually, you got to spend the advancement, then you'll be at veteran. So you don't get veteran
right.
stuff yet.
No, yeah, I know that.
Yeah. Okay. So then, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for episode 9 of our Nights Below adventure. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. I forgot to mention this at the outset, but there is also a link in the description of the video to the set of rules that we are using for this that I printed off here, and then there's also a link to the most recent versions that Christopher has put together. From what Christopher has said, there's not a huge difference, but there are some more recent changes that he made, and I think are in that version that we're linked to. If not, I'll get the more updated one from Christopher and share that down below as well. There is also a link down below, down below to the Dungeon Musing Discord server, where we have channels dedicated to Savage Worlds, to Star Wars, and to most other games we run on the channel. You are more than welcome to join us over there. We have there's a terrific community that's built up over the years over there, and that are helpful and friendly and knowledgeable. So really not a better group of folks you could want to hang out and talk about role-playing games with, or Prince. Today was a Prince heavy day. It would have been Prince's 65th birthday. So if you haven't listened to a Prince song today, go ahead and pop on Raspberry Beret or whatever your favorite is for the day. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have an outstanding selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they also have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs. If you find there's something that is not in stock but is listed, you can often put it on a want list, and they will send you an email when it comes in stock. And if you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code SPRINGMUSER, all caps, all one word, at checkout, and you will save yourself 10% on your purchase. There is also a link down below to the Heroes Save Villages campaign. It's our charity fundraising campaign on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, really amazing organization, active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children. And all donations that go through that link go directly to SOS Children's Villages International. None of that goes to the channel or any other middleman. Just goes to help out the kids who benefit from their services. As a very small way of saying thank you, if you donated $10 or more since June 1st, 2023, head on over to the Charity Initiatives channel on the Dungeon Musing Discord server, and you will find the information for voting on our next charity session. We're running a year-long campaign of 6 linked sessions spread across space and time, and the donors to the Heroes Save Villages campaign have been shaping all the elements of that, including what era we're playing in, what kind of heroes we're using, what game we're using, and what specific time period and locale. So it's been a lot of fun so far. We have 3 more sessions before the end of the year, and if you've donated since June 1st, 2023, you will be able to vote on all of them. In addition, if you donate $25 or more, not only do you get a chance to vote on the Year of Ill Omens charity campaign, you also get a chance to win one of the grand prizes or the other great prizes in our next charity raffle. That'll be happening at the end of November, and I'll have more information about that then. If you have donated between January 1st and May 31st, 2023, I'll be doing the draw at the end of the month. And unfortunately, I continue to be swamped at the day job, so I'm having a hell of a time trying to find time to do stuff beyond running games right now, but we will be doing the draw at the end of the month for that. And then, we have some great prizes, including a chainmail dice bag made by our resident armorsmith, Dave, who has once again very generously donated his labor and his beautiful artistry to the charity raffle. I have 2 copies of the D-Genesis Rebirth Edition slipcase and a couple other great prizes as well that I don't remember offhand, including a chance to play with us. So lots of great prizes, lots of great ways to help shape the last 3 sessions of our Year of Ill Omens campaign, and most importantly, a chance to help out some kids who could really use some help. The last thing I will say is a huge thank you to our stalwart players for today. So Andrew, Jeffrey, and George, thank you so much for joining me back in a galaxy far, far away. This session, after last session's kind of frantic action, I wanted to take a moment and catch our breath, and you guys did a terrific job of highlighting the wonderful kind of story. And this is something that you mentioned, Andrew. Again, this, as always with all of our campaigns, not a story I'm unfolding; it's a story that we're unfolding. Mm-hmm. And that's precisely today's a great session to shine light on how Savage Worlds can help structure that kind of collaborative story building. It also helps when Jeff just rolls dog shit. Not once.
I just feel like things that I did in 1996 are not coming back to haunt me. So
quite possibly. Nice. I would say 1994, and I call that my son. So
yeah.
Wow.
For those,
that's funny.
Wow, Kevin's son, and that's on the internet forever.
Oh my God.
Your dad loves you, I'm sure.
I love him to pieces. He's one of the best thing that's ever happened to me, for sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely. See all the gray in here? You want to know where that came from? But anyway, for those listening at home, we'll be back in a galaxy far, far away in 1 week's time. And until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours, take your mind, a couple of hours, I should say, to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our heroes are anticipating on the arrival at Socorro in a galaxy far, far away. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, happy gaming, and may the Force be with you.